Hey guys, it's your legal bestie, attorney Simone, and we are talking about Tony Buzbee's response after a court has ordered that he is not eligible to practice in the Southern District of New York. Now, yesterday I made a video breaking this down, link to it below. You can also go to simoneredwine.com if you'd like to schedule a consultation with me anywhere in America, link below right here, as well as I do these consultations for any state, but let's hop right into it. So Tony Buzbee says, wait. I can practice. I can practice in the state of New York, and don't be fooled by the media. I'm going to read exactly what his response was that he has just posted. He posted to his social media. Mr. Buzbee says what he's posted is a copy of basically his ability to practice in the state of New York. So he says, I receive many press inquiries and make no effort to respond to most. I prefer rather to just make a general statement one time and let the various entities use that statement as they see fit. Over the past week, I've gotten multiple inquiries from friends and colleagues with concern, asking why I was barred from practicing law in New York State and offering their assistance. I myself have seen several press agencies, some borderline legitimate, reporting the same trash. Let me be clear. I am licensed to practice in New York. I am in good standing with the bar and have always been. Although I prefer Texas, I'm proud of the work we are doing in New York. He said doing New York. I know he meant in New York. Don't believe the clickbait or dramatic headlines. Most of what's reported nowadays is pure bunk. So this goes back to yesterday in the report. We reported on how there was a federal district court that had stated that Buzbee was not authorized to practice in New York. And therefore, here is the order. I'm going to share this with you. It says the Committee on Grievances has considered Buzbee's application for admission to the U.S. District for the Southern District of New York, which was filed January 29th. Per the committee's review of the dockets, Mr. Buzbee has appeared in cases in this court without seeking admission. Therefore, the petition is denied. In the event Mr. Buzbee moves for pro hoc vice or regular admission in this court in the future, he must attach a copy of this order to his motion. Okay, so Mr. Buzbee, you have answered a question that has not been asked and isn't even an issue. So what Mr. Buzbee says is, I'm licensed to practice in New York. Okay, cool. But that doesn't fix this problem, because this is not a New York state court he filed in. He filed in federal court. In other words, he's still in trouble because he also needs to be admitted into the Southern District of New York before he began arguing, having hearings, all of that, and he didn't do that. So it's still an issue. If you look at this document here, this is document 49. That means 48 other things have happened in this case, right? So what I'm here to clarify is, yeah, Mr. Buzbee is right. He is licensed and in good standing in the state of New York. But if you're going to practice in federal court, you also have to be admitted to that specific federal court district. So for me, I am located in Houston. I'm admitted to the Northern District of Texas, which covers Dallas, but I have not yet admitted myself into the Southern District, which is Houston. If I were to try and have hearings and proceed in Houston, even though I'm licensed in the state of Texas, I have the same problem. So Mr. Buzbee, you're still in trouble. This doesn't fix the issue. Now, someone on my, one of the comments to the prior video, someone very wisely said, well, wait a minute, because I explained effectively what this means is for all of the cases he currently has pending, he can't represent them in those cases because the court said, no, you didn't do this in the right order. You literally went very far along in your cases and now you're doing it. It should have been the first step after filing these cases. You should not have allowed 48 other things to be filed on the docket before you got around to making sure you yourself could practice. Oh, and let me show you how simple it would have been for him to do. So this is the Southern District of New York's website. Literally. Instructions for admission pro hoc vice. Now, here's the thing. He knows he needed to be admitted pro hoc vice because he actually applied. That's how he got the denial. See? So it's almost like he's coming off as saying, oh, guys, I'm admitted in New York. That doesn't answer the question here. No one's asking if you're admitted in New York. It's the Southern District of New York, federal court. Federal jurisdiction is completely different from state jurisdiction. That's how come there are state court rules, federal court rules, right? So he can't say, oh, I didn't even need that. Well, if you didn't need it, why'd you apply for it? You applied for it, and that's how you got rejected. Well, look at this. It says instructions for admission. It says by oral motion. So you can do the written motion, which it's got steps up here. And then there's an oral motion option. When do you use the oral motion option? You use the oral motion option when there's no time. Chop, chop. We got to get to justice, which is cool. Literally, it says, when time does not permit for a written motion, an attorney may move for admission by oral motion for pro hoc vice. A proposed order must be completed in advance of the appearance. All that means is literally when he had whatever hearing he had in the case, that first hearing, he could have set up and said, hey, Your Honor, I'm attorney Tony Buzbee. Yes, I'm licensed in the state of New York and also in Texas, in good standing in both. But I'd like to orally ask to be admitted pro hoc vice to the Southern District of New York in the meantime, because this is urgent. That's it. That's why this court is not playing with him. It's literally that simple. So he didn't physically sign the paper. He has to resign it. That's not exact. No, that's not what the order says. That is absolutely not what the order says. So now this has happened in multiple cases where he's had to address this issue, but specifically nothing on here in this order says all you have to do is re-sign it with a wet copy. That's not what this order says. Now, there is a different entry. You might be referring to this entry. This entry, but this is likely for a different case. This one does reference that. And it also references the grievance. So what this means is that in each case, a judge can make a separate ruling. So the ruling, here we go. The ruling of the court that says here, the Committee on Grievances has said, blah, blah, blah. No, that's as of the date of the order, February 13th. So therefore, going forward, each judge can individualize whether or not they want to accept him. But this is applicable for the particular case that it was filed in, these were filed in reference to. It says January 29th, whatever case that was, because he's got buku. And it goes from there. So I appreciate you guys' questions, but this will give me, yes. So Angela has a good question. The question was, can he have another partner in the firm to proceed? Absolutely. That way his firm won't lose all of the money that they've invested. But yes, someone else who is admitted. Now they just have to either make sure that they're admitted or they have to file immediately the application for pro hoc vice. So doesn't he just have to reapply? I certainly would try, but the order is the order. This particular order says no. Therefore, the petition is denied. And it specifically says, in the event Mr. Buzbee moves for pro hoc in this court in the future, he has to attach a copy of this order. This is the type of penalty. First of all, it is absolutely a technicality. It's a procedural issue. And this is the type of thing where courts likely are not going to bar you from practicing in that district forever. It's more so a penalty on the cases where you proceeded without following the instructions. So if he does it correctly going forward, he should be fine. He should be fine. Wasn't he just granted the ability to apply pro hoc vice? That's this case that he's in, where he had the error and they said, you need to apply. So that's him trying to do it correctly this time, right? He's applying. And as part of that application process, because this order says you got to include this order, that's what we see here. So yes, so this is, let me show you specifically. So if you look here at entry 49, filing error, deficient document, blah, blah, blah. If you look at the attachments, exhibit 6 is the grievance because he has to submit it for each one. But in this case, the judge can absolutely say, hey, all right, that order was ordered in a prior case in a different matter. We see you are now going through the steps correctly so you can get admitted. So that's effectively what it means here. But it also means it sounds like he's moving really quickly with all these cases, and they simply skipped a very basic step that should have been handled. So moral of the story is, yeah, he's admitted in New York, but that doesn't fix the issue. The issue is you have to get admitted into each federal district that you're seeking to be applied for. And the traditional time takes about 30 days. But as I showed you guys, if you need it urgently, you can always stand up in court and orally ask the judge to grant you pro hoc vice. And either the judge will say, yes, I'm going to grant it today, or it will be pending, but I will let you proceed, because he's always proceeding. He's never in court without a New York Southern District admitted attorney with him. Because what happens is you can't file anything without a login number, and your login, you only receive your login if you are an attorney admitted to the district. So it's not like he's been going to court all willy-nilly, not knowing the law all by himself for the Southern District. He has been going with co-counsel. It's simply that his co-counsel, neither he nor his co-counsel, submitted the proper paperwork. Hope that answers your questions. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and let us know what questions do you have below. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone, and thanks for turning into Girl, Is That Legal on YouTube.